This lesson is on literal equations. Okay. All that means is there's more than one variable and you're solving to get just a single variable by itself on one side of the equation. So this is a great problem here. Only the first part is really the literal equation part, but the rest of it's really good math and a good way to kind of train you guys how to start thinking about this stuff. So here we go. Your best friend lives on the opposite side of Cobb's Pond 2 miles away. Your friend's having a cookout that is starting at noon, or you want to be at the cookout by noon, and you're going to swim there. So you swim at a rate of 50 feet per minute. You know that they live 2 miles apart, and we want to know what time do you have to leave. So what time do you need to leave in order to make it to our cookout by 12 noon? So our final answer is you must leave at such and such a time. So we want time, we have rate, and we have a distance. So you know an equation that does this. All right, the equation is distance equals rate times time. All right, now I'm just going to move this out of my way because I need the space. So we want to know the time that you need to leave. So what we need to do is solve for t. All right, so to get t alone, you divide both sides by r, and that gives us t equals distance divided by rate. Alright, sweet. So that would be 2 miles divided by 50 feet per minute. Okay, well, you can't divide miles by feet. We have to have the same units to get a meaningful answer. So I'm going to convert miles into feet so I have the same dimensions. So 2 miles, using the train track method, you can multiply that by 5,280 feet per 1 mile, right? Because 5,280 feet and 1 mile are the same thing. So that over itself is really 1. So I'm really multiplying 2 by just a 5,000, by something that doesn't change what it is, right? Because this many feet and this many miles are the same. This is the same as doing 2 times 5,280 over 1. All right, but we write it this way when we're doing unit conversions. So that gives me 10,560 feet. All right, so this really becomes 10 instead of 2 miles, it's 10,560 feet divided by 50 feet per minute. All right, and when you have a division of units on the bottom, that moves to the other side. So feet over feet cancels, and I get 10,560 divided by 50 is approximately 211.2 minutes. All right, so you need to leave. It'll take you 211.2 minutes to swim across the pond, so you need to leave that much earlier. What time is that? Well, let's convert minutes to hours. 211.2 minutes, using the same method, I'm going to divide by minutes, because I want to convert it to hours. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So then we divide this by 60, and we get approximately 3.5 hours. So if it takes you 3.5 hours to swim across, and you want to get there by noon, it would have to be 8:30 a.m. that you'd have to leave. All right, that doesn't even leave you any time to shower or anything, but there you go. Literal equations are really just doing the same thing you would do with an equation with variables instead of numbers. So use the same techniques basically that you would use to solve equations. We want to solve for y. That means we want to end up with y equals blah, 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 blah. Y equals something, but we want y alone. Okay? So we work our way from the outside in, subtract the 2x, and that leaves me with negative 4y equals 8 minus 2x, right? 8 and 2x are not like terms. I cannot combine them. Okay, so now we divide by negative 4. And you can divide, if you divide the left side to get the y, you have to divide the entire right side. But I don't want you to write it this way. Remember before I talked about it, I'm sure I mentioned it in class already, I won't want you to do this, even though it's technically okay. It leads to errors usually. I want you to do this. So a minus 2x, divide everything by the negative 4. Everything that has a plus or a minus between it, you divide by the negative 4. So you have 8 over negative 4 minus 2x over negative 4. And that gives us y equals 8 over negative 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 over negative 4 is a positive 1/2 x. So that's y equals, we solve for y. So for y means we want the y along. Alright, so just a couple more examples here. Solve this for y. Alright, well, I'm going to subtract the w first. 9 and w are not like terms, so that's why I wrote it off to the side instead of underneath. Helps me avoid that error. So I have 9 minus w. What's 9 minus w? It's 9 minus w. You can't combine those. I'm solving for y, so I want that alone, so I have to divide by x. Divide by x, divide by x. And that gives me y equals 9 over x minus w over x. And that is your final answer. Alright, so solve this for k. Okay, sure. So we're going to work our way from the outside in. The best thing to do here is divide by x first. Now notice here I had to divide by x twice. That's because this was being added or subtracted. Here, this is x times something, right? So x times something means there's not multiple things I'm going to divide. So we cancel that out. I have 4 minus k equals p over x. And then I'm going to subtract my 4. And I get negative k equals p over x minus 4. And I want a positive k, so I have to multiply this side by negative 1, which means I have to multiply this whole side by negative 1. Alright, so negative times negative is just a positive k. That's what we want. And then I have to distribute the negative 1 to simplify completely. So it's a negative p over x plus 4. Right? Negative times a positive is negative. Negative times a negative number is positive. And there we go. Alright, so you should have read this question. We're solving formula for L. So we're going to minus a 2w. And that gives us p minus 2w equals 2l. Using a capital L just so it doesn't look like a 1. Divide everything by a 2. And that gives me p over 2 minus w equals L. Alright, so it says that the width of the field is 50. Alright, W stands for width, so we have minus 50. The perimeter is 220, so that's a 220 stands for P, and that's going to equal our length. So that's 110 over 110 minus 50 equals L, so that's 60 equals L. Alright, so since we didn't do much with numbers, here's something pretty cool. Alright, so try to do this stuff in your head as fast as you can. What is 2 plus 2? What's 4 plus 4? It's 8 plus 8. 16 plus 16. Quick, pick a number between 12 and 5. Got it yet? Was it 7?